Raider, an action-adventure video game that was released in 1996 on the PlayStation 1. Lara Croft. Does the name ring a bell? I sure as hell hope so. An archaeologist adventurer who became such a huge sensation in gaming and one of the most iconic female protagonists out there. She was everywhere you can think of. Movies, posters, advertisements, comics, futanari, fantasy pornos, you name it, she was legitimately everywhere. She was not only one stunning character, but she was a badass, extremely educated and full of determination to fulfill any quest she's destined to complete. Just the name Tomb Raider alone, it speaks so much volume with its storytelling, simplistic, addicting, and fun gameplay that defines the word classic in the genre of action adventure, with its precision timing, platforming, various obstacles, crafting, shooting, and skill. For me personally, folks, I haven't played a Tomb Raider game in years. Since the first four Tomb Raider games. The first Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider 2, Tomb Raider 3, and Tomb Raider 4, The Last Revelation. Now, years later, I am self-aware that there is a 2013 reboot that happened with a whole new story, whole new type of Lara Croft, whole new everything that just brings a whole new light and reflection on who Lara Croft is and a reminder of exactly of what Tomb Raider is and this new legacy that is going to be played within the whole entire landscape of what made the game exactly what it is, but bringing a whole new light to a modern day audience. Now, I never really had a chance or ability to get my hands on the game. Now, I did hear about more Tomb Raider games that's out there. Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Today, in this tape, I'm going to talk about Rise of the Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider. The game starts off as you are playing as the ultimate stunning badass female protagonist, Lara Croft, once again. You are on a journey to visit the long city of Kitsa, whatever the fuck it's called. And your quest is to find this gem that sets to bring immortality to whomever uses it. There's more to it. She's continuing her father's legacy after his sudden death. Along the way, you meet an alibi named Jacob who assists you along the way. While attempting to gain the trust from his people, you give them guidance and help fighting off against Trinity, who's also out to get this prized gem. Playing a Tomb Raider game after so many years, here's what I can necessarily say about this particular game. When I first started playing this, I felt taken back, reliving childhood memories. This game has everything of what makes a Tomb Raider and what it is, the pure definition of what adventure is all about. You go through various obstacles within climbing, jumping, swinging, ziplining, and the whole entire list continues. Now, through the gameplay, with these elements, it is classic old school platforming at its finest. Now, let me talk a little bit about the story and exactly how I feel and how it impacted me from playing this particular game. Now, the story itself, it goes a long way. Laura has to go through different emotions discovering the truth if this treasure that she is seeking is real or it's just legend. Now, so many people, friends that she knows, alibis that she meets along the way, tell her that she needs to give this up. She needs to quit. But she is determined. She is fucking destined to find this treasure. Carrying on her father's legacy is something destined that she was willing to do. Now, she's willing to find the truth and see if it's possible to seek immortality. Now, things happen for a reason. She learns it the hard way with the alibis that she meets, and she learns it the hard way within the powers of what this gem is. Because the thing is, the reality sets in is that you can't live forever. Death is a part of life. You're born, you die, and you move on. That's just how life transpires, and she learns that the hard way. Continuing on, here's what I can say within the pros and cons I have about this game. Visual presentation is absolutely remarkable. Scenery, the new look of Lara Croft, specific details on the nature landscape, bringing in realism factor, especially when you are platforming on certain details. The whole entire premise alone, just seeing specific like icebergs, the grass, certain waterfalls, the rivers or ponds or puddles or whatever the fuck you were walking through, just make a whole entire difference itself, and it's fantastic. If there's one thing Tomb Raider has always been noticeable for, that's having absolute killer scores. The music in this game is just astonishing to listen to. Not only does it have beautiful, soothing melodies throughout the story, but when it came time for gameplay, the music just went to an instant badass mode that keeps you energized and to keep you going throughout each section of the gameplay. Crafting and upgrading. Like in any standard third-person game that has this concept, this game was generous, giving you different various places to camp. You can choose your specific weapons, craft ammunitions, upgrade to a much more powerful weapon, upgrade your stats and skills. If there's one thing I always did throughout my play, that was explore the whole entire area, picking up wood, feathers, bush limbs, poison mushrooms, you name it, just so you can have the proper supplies you need to craft the ammunition specifically for your bow and arrow. Now, if there's one thing I also did like is that other than crafting your ammunition, you can craft satchels, you can craft extra goodies that you need to hold on much more ammunition. Your weapons alone, you can go through different inventories of upgrading your bow and arrow to something much more high advanced, which is something really intriguing and really caught my interest alone. Same thing with your weapons. You can have a revolver, a hand cannon, a pistol, you name it. Different various hand weapons. Same thing with your rifles. You can have a specific gold fang or the assault rifle itself. Now, in terms of your own attire, you can choose whatever costumes you want, whatever attire to make Lara Croft look fucking absolutely splendid like she always does. Fucking incredible if you ask me. Nice little various change. Something basic, you can say generic, whoever you're talking to, but for me, it is something basic, something simple. Let me talk a little bit about the platforming in this game alone. Now, within the platforming itself, you go through different obstacles throughout your play. The thing is that when you are jumping around, you jump from one area to another. You're going to have to do occasional swinging, occasional rock climbing on the icebergs or on the walls itself. Most circumstances, shoot arrows into the wall so you can do specific platforming accuracy so you can jump from one obstacle to another. So that is one thing that is very intriguing about this particular game. And plus, it's classic Tomb Raider platforming at its finest, and that's one thing that's always been engaging about Tomb Raider. So one thing I love about these reboots is that it takes the concept of the classic gameplay that you are well aware of and what you're familiar with, and they take that and put it into this particular advantage. Now, another thing I like about this is that in a good portion of the game, in order to advance to the next area, Tomb Raider is obviously known for having platforming puzzles. The puzzles in the game are absolutely creative, simple, basic to figure out, and the thing is, that's what makes the fun of it. The platforming areas you do advancing on within the story and specific areas alone. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the weapons. Specifically, the one weapon that I'm really more keen on is the bow and arrow. Lara Croft is known for having the bow and arrow as her main repertoire and something that you are easily accustomed to playing with because of the accuracy. It helps with certain areas of the stealth that you are willing to try. Specific arrows that you can craft within your playthrough alone makes the gameplay much easier. The best specialty I use is the poison arrow. Not only does it take out a group of enemies within one shot, it makes your own playthrough a lot easier. Same thing with the exploding arrows that you have, also the fire arrows and the broadhead climbing arrows that you can use for the platforming on certain obstacles. Very useful. Also, throughout your journey, you are going to be doing some side missions, whether if you're going to be hunting or going into caves, clearing out so you can gather up a bunch of folks and put them into one, get certain bonuses. And another thing is that when you meet some certain folks within Jacob's group, they're going to ask you to do side missions, some favors. Now, I highly suggest doing the side missions because the thing is, when you do these side missions and complete the task, you are going to get some bonuses along the way that's going to make your gameplay much more simpler. You're going to get a lockpick, you're going to get certain weapons, you're going to get certain ammunition, certain upgrades, little things like that that's going to help you along the way. Within certain shootouts that's happening, you're going to be needing these specific upgrades to make it much more easier, much more simple, and to take out enemies a lot easier, especially if they are heavily armed. Very nice thing to do, these little side missions. Now, on a personal note, I find side missions to be a little bit of a nuisance, unless if it has a specific reason why you need to do them. In this game, these side missions, even though they're optional, they give you a legit reason why you should do them for these upgrades that will help you. Now, I do have a couple problems with the game. Now, it's mostly within the gameplay elements. During shootouts, I'm not a fan of the audio with how the guns fire. They sound very lackluster and doesn't give me a stride of impression. Some of the guns alone are not very accurate. It's mostly within specific pistols and the assault rifle itself. Not very accurate, and a weapon that I personally recommend not using. Now, in terms of weapons I do say you should use, specifically the double barrel. For a good portion of the game, once you get it, it eliminates enemies real easy. Also, use the single barrel shotgun on most occasions so you can get proper, accurate headshots. Now, folks, after showing you some example footage within the story and a little bit of some gameplay elements, I'm going to talk to you all a little bit face to face, giving you all my overall conclusion and how I truly feel about this game. Now, Rise of the Tomb Raider was an absolute blast of fun. It was exciting, had a perfect blend of old school Tomb Raider gameplay, along with an inspirational, adventurous, thrilling story and amazing visual presentation in a modern time setting, giving you a whole new look, a whole new feel, a whole new story, whole new everything, while paying tribute and homage to the original classics. This game was absolutely amazing. The game itself breaks into the basics and gives the definition in terms of what adventure video game is truly all about. Overall, Rise of the Tomb Raider is a game that gets a 9 out of 10 from me. Absolute fun game. I love it. I can't wait to get my hands on Shadow of the Tomb Raider and hopefully give you folks a proper discussion on that. So with that being said, folks, what is your perspective on Rise of the Tomb Raider? Have you played it? Have you played Shadow? Have you played the reboot Tomb Raider? Have you even played the originals? If so, what is your all-time favorite Tomb Raider? Let me know down below, folks. I'm willing to know what you folks think. So with that being said, ciao for now.